Welcome back to another edition of Six Borough Sports, your home for New York and South Florida sports. Today, just like to start the video by I'm going to provide a link if you'd like to donate to the people affected by Hurricane Milton, Cross State Brothers up in Tampa. Um, really been going through it these past couple of weeks with Helene and then Milton back to back. That's very it's not easy to deal with. So if you'd like to donate to the American Red Cross to help out, I'm going to provide a link in as a pinned comment. Now, a second to talk about the New York Mets because I'd like to talk about the New York Mets. The New York Mets defeat the Philadelphia Phillies in 4 games and advance to the NLCS. And that Lindor grand slam, literally, oh my God, pun intended. I don't even think that's a pun, but that was crazy. I couldn't believe it when it happened. The Mets in that game, they were struggling so much with runners on. I think that they left at least 10 runners on in that game. It was bad. They could not knock in a run, and then the way that the Phillies scored on that little dribbler that Vientos couldn't handle, it was just really bad. And also Ranger Suarez getting away with murder every inning with that really nasty curveball that no one could hit. Everybody was swinging that stuff in the dirt. It's a really frustrating game, and then Lindor comes in huge. I think they're going to make Lindor a captain next year. I don't have any doubt about it now. He is the MVP right now. Otani can put up all the stats he wants. Lindor is the MVP because Lindor is also in the field too. And if people say it should be Otani, that's fine, whatever. The Dodgers and Padres are playing tonight. We'll see how that goes. I'm kind of leaning towards wanting the Dodgers. The Mets have a good history of playing the Dodgers, and it usually ends well. Speaking of playing the Dodgers and it ending well, Daniel Murphy and Bartolo Colon uh, teamed up to throw out the first pitch. Daniel Murphy threw the first pitch to Bartolo Colon, which I thought was very funny. But absolutely incredible series. I was really surprised by a few things in this series. Number one, I was surprised by Trey Turner was just not effective at all. I thought he was a much more dangerous hitter, and maybe that's what Philly thought when they signed him. But yeah, he was just not effective. Another thing, shout out to Nick Castellanos. He was really good in this series. I did not like having him up at the plate. And when Harper got a hit and then Castellanos was up after him, the Phillies were dangerous. Schwarber had that first home run, and then he was pretty much a no-show. And that was literally for Senga's first at bat in a few months. So I'm not going to kill Senga about that. I will. I am interested to see if Senga can pitch closer to a complete game in the upcoming Dodger series or Padre series. But yeah, the Mets they found a way to win. Lindor, that grand slam, I'm gonna remember that one for a while. That was insanity. And then the ninth inning, I thought Mendoza should have kept in Peterson and not put in Diaz because Diaz was really trying to make it as interesting as possible. But he was able to strike out Schwarber, who Schwarber's clueless against Diaz. Diaz just burns him every time. But it was a great win. The Mets are playing with house money right now. They're a very dangerous team. Um, I, we got to see how far this can go. Just keep going. It's been great so far. Like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards. I don't want to play either of these Dodgers or Padres, but I guess I'm going to lean towards the Dodgers just because I think they're a little more vulnerable, and I think the Mets, for some reason, have their number a little bit. and it is kind of lining up where we might have a rematch of Subway Series, but we'll see. We've It's a long ways away, and that's not even. I'm not even picking that to even happen. So we'll see about that. Few other things that I noticed in the game. Zach Wheeler is nasty. I don't want to face him. But again, even in that game one, I was like, we just need to get to the bullpen. I was like, make him throw as many pitches as possible. And the second they went to the bullpen, the announcers are saying this, the whole mood changed, and they completely took advantage of the Phillies bullpen, and they just single, 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 single. Um, that game was pretty crazy. I thought we were just going to lose like 1-0. And actually, it kind of had a similar feel in the last game, just not hitting with runners in scoring position. But yeah, the Phillies. I was more intrigued with. I didn't follow the Phillies too much because they were in first. There wasn't like a ton of reason for me to watch them this year because they just kind of controlled the division. They got off to that hot start and then essentially sat on their lead. And the Mets, if they weren't so far behind, they could have caught up to the Phillies. If they didn't have that 11 game deficit, they could have caught up to the Phillies and maybe won this division, but they were just too far behind. Um, but they have some interesting problems. The bottom of the order was basically rendered ineffective. I mean, Real Muto had no hits. He batted zero. So that was really bad from him, and I consider him a pretty good catcher. Schwarber he's so iffy. He can carry over or he can do nothing. And in this series, he had that first home run, but he was largely left ineffective. That home run had little impact on the series. And then, like I said, Trey Turner, very ineffective. He almost had an error when he did that double play, and he still got the double play because JD Martinez was running like slow as molasses. Um, but it was incredible to see Lindor just deliver again. Um, there was some other things in the series. I like the Winker not a grand slam, but he crushed it, and he just stood there showboating, which is the exact opposite of Lindor. When Lindor was running around, he was all stoic, but and that's how their work cut out from. They finally have some time off. They were like in like a mini marathon where during the regular season they had that series against the Brewers, then they played the Braves, then they went to Milwaukee, and they beat Milwaukee, and now they have like a little, and then they go and play Philly, and then they beat Philly, and now they go and they finally have like a little bit of a break to catch up and heal. I think McNeil is coming back as well. There's been some debate on who to he can replace, and I would just replace one of the relievers. They haven't used Young at all. There was another reliever that they haven't used, so I would just take out one of the relievers and put McNeil in. His bat may be useful. I know he's had an awful year, but yeah, if we can have McNeil and Senga back, it should be interesting. Looking forward to the Dodgers or Padres. Like I said, I'm leaning towards kind of wanting the Dodgers, but not either team is going to be rough. I'm going to stay with my reverse kind of jinx and select whoever wins tonight against the Mets. Um, they should win, but they have better rosters. I'm not going to say they have better teams because the Mets have been the best team in baseball since June or July. But yeah, it's going to be a great series. They're going to go back and forth between Southern California and New York, so it should be a good time. A lot of star power. But if the Mets could get to the World Series, that would be absolutely incredible. I do not. If the Mets make it to the World Series, I do not want to see the Yankees there. I want to see Cleveland or Detroit. I want nothing to do with the Yankees. I just feel like I mean, it would add more to the magical lore if it did happen, but I don't want it to happen. Speaking of the Yankees, they dispatched the Royals. I mean, when I saw that the Yankees were matched up only against the AL Central, I was like, we're done. We're doomed. It's the Yankees are going to the World Series because the AL Central is absolutely useless against the Yankees. They cannot beat the Yankees. As hard as they try, they can't do it. If the Yankees don't win the net against Detroit or Cleveland, they that's going to be that's good. There's going to be help then. But we'll see what happens. I think they have one more game tomorrow, I believe. Um, I kind of want Detroit. I kind of like Detroit. They're scrappy. I don't like Cleveland's rebrand. Like, yeah, you change your name, but you gotta change up a lot more stuff. They essentially look the same. I don't like that. If you're gonna go with a new name, revamp your team, make it something a little more interesting. Kind of like the Commanders, you just copy everything and you just change your name. It's not that fun. I want a whole new setup. I understand where the Guardians comes from. It's like these statues on a bridge that goes into Cleveland. But you can do a little more creativity there. But that's it for this week. Stay tuned. I think I'm going to make another video for on Sunday and release it on Monday. Hopefully, it should be good. And keep an eye out for that. It's my first time doing two videos in a row. Um, but I just like to remind everyone to please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you the next video. Bye bye.